You found a home you love. Before you make an offer, there are a few easy things you should do. They're completely free, but they can save you tens of thousands of dollars, and most buyers never do them. I'm Aris Papadopoulos, founding chair of the Resilience Action Fund. I'm an engineer and the author of Resilionomics. Today I want to talk about a home's flood risk and how to check it yourself before you buy anything. I'll walk you through a few easy steps you can do in just a few minutes. First, don't rely on government flood maps and so-called FEMA 100-year flood zones. Most are out of date or are overly optimistic. Plus, they ignore flooding from heavy rainfall. Start here. Go to firststreet.org. There's a basic free option, and it's really easy to use. It gives homes a flood score from 1 to 10. 1 is minimal risk, 10 is extreme. Here's what most people miss. This isn't only about safety, it's about price. A home scoring 3 or lower is worth roughly 10 to 15% more than a similar home scoring 7 or higher. Same street, same size, different number. So that free 2-minute check can save you real money before you ever make an offer. Now here's the crazy thing. The big listing site Zillow added these flood scores, then quietly deleted them after real estate agents complained the scores were hurting sales. But Redfin and Realtor.com still show them near the bottom of their listings. And if the house you're looking at doesn't have a score, find a comparable home nearby that does, and use it as a rough guide. Here's another great thing most people don't know. On Redfin, type in any address you're interested in, even your current home. Click on the map just below the photos, then choose Flood from the list of map layers. Parts of the map will appear in shades of blue. Those are the areas you want to avoid, especially the darker blues. Move the map around to see entire neighborhoods and cities, which can help you pick the low flood risk areas. If you want to go deeper, you can buy a full property risk report from First Street or another service called Risk Footprint, which pulls the flood zone, elevation, and storm surge for a specific address. It's worth considering. Don't count on the seller to tell you about flood risk. Some states like Florida, Texas, and the Carolinas now require sellers to disclose past flooding, but they only have to hand it over when you sign the contract. By then, you've already named your price. Nearly a third of states require nothing at all. And even where disclosure is required, it only covers flooding the seller actually knows about. A home can have a clean, recent flood history and still sit in a high-risk spot. So don't wait to be told. Check the risk yourself before you make an offer. While you can still negotiate the price or walk away, you can also request a FEMA flood history. Generally, only the current owner can request it. If the owner is unwilling to do so, it may be a sign to look elsewhere. Next, check the elevation. A rule of thumb from our Building Resilience Index, you want the lowest floor people actually live on to sit at least 10 feet above sea level, or 10 feet above the level of any nearby lake, river, or creek, even if it looks dry now. 15 feet is better. This is easy to check on Google Earth. You can also just look in a search engine or ask AI for the elevation using the address. It's a rough figure, not survey grade, but it's fine as you're doing your own research to screen properties. If the house sits below that 10-foot mark, you're looking at future costs. Things like raising the wall outlets, elevating the HVAC and the appliances, water-resistant floors, maybe even raising the entire house. That's money you should budget to spend later, or money you can take off your offer now. Drive around the neighborhood. Are some homes built higher up on raised ground or lifted up on support posts, while the one you like sits at ground level? That's a signal. Ask a contractor what it would cost to raise the home and factor that into your offer. As you drive around, note if the house is lower than the road in front of it. Water runs downhill, so in a heavy storm, that road becomes a stream and it'll likely flow right into your driveway. Then look behind the property. A slope rising above the home means stormwater is likely to flow back down toward the house. During a sudden downpour, drainage pipes and culverts can be overwhelmed, and fast water and debris can pour down that slope and flood the home. One more thing worth knowing. Flood isn't covered by a standard homeowner's policy. It's separate, and in a high-risk area, it can be expensive. So, get a flood insurance quote for the neighborhood before you fall in love with the home. You've usually got two options. The federal option, called the National Flood Insurance Program, or a private insurer. For a high-risk property, either one can be costly or hard to get at all. Better to know that price before you make an offer than after. Even if you plan on buying government insurance, know what private insurers will charge you. You may be forced to buy it if the government changes its mind or shuts down while you're due for renewal. If private insurers refuse to give you a quote, it likely means the risk is high. Here's the bottom line. When looking to buy a house, don't fall for cosmetic stuff or things like a kitchen and ignore the flood risk. A kitchen can be easily remodeled. Cosmetics are easy to fix. A flood-prone house is not. Before you buy a home, know how flood resilient it is. Beyond the safety risk to you and your family, if it's not resilient, it's simply not worth as much. So spend a few minutes on First Street. Check the elevation. Drive around the block. Look into insurance. Our Homebuyers Guide is linked below, and you can find more at buildingresilient.com. If this was useful, hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm Aris Papadopoulos. Thanks for watching.